both legal and illegal. Okay, well, I'm not just talking illegal, I'm also talking legal immigration, changing the culture of America. And then you've got mandatory, multicultural sensitivity videos. So we see the minority elite imposing their ideology on an unwilling and resentful populace. And what this causes a backlash. People get ticked off.
Really?
Believe it or not. Imagine that. You force your opinion on people, people get ticked. So whether or not one likes those, most commonly identified with populism, people like, you've got Lou Dobbs, you've got Pat Buchanan, you've got Ralph Nader, of course you've got Theodore Roosevelt, he was most certainly a populist. But they can't deny that much of what they say has roots in political and economic realism. See, these ideologues, these people with their head in the clouds, they might see, economic nationalism, like saying America first, buy America first. Or this rigid non-interventionism, that we don't want to go into other countries. They label it isolationism. They may slander those things, but the numbers of lost jobs to the so-called free trade and the lost lives to imperial adventures around the world playing Global Cop, these things speak for themselves.
Most definitely.
These numbers don't lie. And the numbers are there for everybody to see. We don't need Ross Perot's pie charts to figure this out. All we need to do is look at our paychecks.
Yeah.
And we need to pick up a phone from telemarketers from somebody who doesn't know how to speak English. And to know that every time we buy something, we look at it, it says made in China, Mexico, Bangladesh,
Indonesia.
All these places, India, it's everywhere. And then
America, it's so few.
Yeah, everywhere but America.
So few.
That's all you got to do. Look down the street and see how many people have lost their jobs. Kellogg's lost a bunch of jobs. Mr. Carlos Gutierrez, what does he do? He ends up getting a position in the Bush administration right after a whole bunch of Kellogg's employees lost their jobs.
Woohoo!
To nowhere else but Mexico.
Mexico.
So however the political tides turn, one thing is for certain, and that's this. Populism, my friends, is on the rise. Some can call it reactionary, and you know what? They might even be true about that. But it's not some blind knee-jerk reaction to political phantoms. It's not a knee-jerk reaction to economic illusions. This reaction by the average Joe in America is a gut feeling that what they see and feel is very, very real. And that what they see and feel is reflected in the language of the populists. And they believe it. And as long as we continue to allow ourselves to be hoodwinked by those in power, and hoodwinked by those who've got the money and everything else, and don't stand up together and fight this onslaught on the American middle class and lower class in America, we're going to simply keep getting the same thing. See more for sale signs in your front yards, friends. How many for sale signs is too much? How many people waiting in the line to get their welfare checks is too much? I don't know. It's too much for me.